So the devotional that I'm going to read this morning is called Growing Roots. Accepting Jesus or starting a relationship with Jesus or inviting Jesus into your life or becoming a Christian is not the same thing as following Jesus. It's just the first step in a lifetime of steps. Sadly, some people never move past accepting Jesus. They say yes to his forgiveness, enjoy the moment, and then they set it aside. Maybe they think following Jesus is like following someone on social media, which is totally passive. All you need to do is click a link, swipe a screen, or confirm a request. But following Jesus requires us to be actively and intentionally connected to him personally. We can't just check in now and then or mute his updates or ignore his notifications. We need to make time to be with him, to listen to him, to learn about him, and to learn from him. In these verses, Paul writes, just as you have accepted Jesus as your Lord, you must continue to follow him. Let your roots grow down into him and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth that you were taught. Accepting is step one. Following is every step that comes after that. Some of the things I got from that is, well, they said the first step is just accepting Jesus, and that is a very, very important step. So I definitely encourage, if you haven't even taken that step, to reach out. There's lots of us on here that are always happy to answer any questions you have. I know sometimes starting a relationship with Christ, it can be a little overwhelming when you're like, I don't even know, like when I open my Bible, I don't even know what I'm reading. I don't know what's going on. That sometimes that can be intimidating. But I know there's so many of us on here that we have all been there. I'm still there. Sometimes when I'm reading something in the Bible, I'm like, what does this mean? But so find someone you're comfortable with, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And accepting is not the same as following. And we have to be able to move past that. So accepting Jesus is a very, very important first step, but that's just the beginning of an incredible journey that you're going to have. So as long as you continue to take the steps to follow him, he's going to continue to teach you and grow you and mold. And we have to be able to connect to him. We can't just check in. I know sometimes it's easy to go to prayer, be like, I know I've messed up a lot this week. Please forgive me. Thank you for all my blessings, and go on. And he's over here like trying to talk to you, to tell you more. And you're just like, I'm going to put you on mute this week because you're really wanting me to go outside my comfort zone. You're wanting me to do all the stuff that I don't want to do. So I'm just going to put you on mute, and I'll check back in next week when I need to ask for forgiveness for again. And every single time that you mess up, every single time that you have a bad week or you fall short, he wants you back. Every single time. I know sometimes it's hard whenever you do feel like maybe you haven't been walking, the path that you feel like you need, or you've got out maybe what you feel like his calling or his purpose is for you. And I know sometimes when you're in that season, it's really hard to go back to him because you feel guilty. But every single time that you have messed up, Jesus is right there just wanting you back with his arms open, ready for you to come back to him. Sorry. He wants a true relationship with you. He wants to spend time with you. So make time to be with him every day. Try to listen to him, learn about him, reading your Bible and whatever your devotional you're doing, or books or Bible study that you're doing. Make time to do it and truly learn about him, because I promise the more that you learn about him and learn what he has done, the more that you are just going to grow to love him. We always have so much to learn. So like I said, don't ever get intimidated about where you are in your walk, because it's a lifelong journey. You are always going to be learning more. I don't think there's ever going to be a time that we feel like I don't have to read the Bible anymore because I've known it all. Every single time you read it, every single time I read the same book or I read the same verses, I learn more from it. I take it a different way. So he has a purpose for you, and you have to be willing to walk in it. We've talked in our small groups on Sunday at church about how your purpose may change, and you may be in one season right now. And if you will walk in what God is telling you to do, and you're doing the steps, then he's going to continue to open the doors. You may not have an idea what your big purpose is, but if you're doing what he wants you to do right now, then that's just having faith that it'll just continue to be better and better. So it changes, but it's worth it. You just have to spend the time with him. did you want me to continue on to the next thing, Kara? Did you want to jump in?
Relating that to Plexus a little bit, you talked about just, like accepting is the first step, but then there's so much more to go deeper. And I feel like it's the same thing in our businesses a lot of times, like joining this opportunity is the first step, but you have to be willing to like dive in and grow a little bit deeper. I guess it doesn't matter really.
You can go.
First for the next one. She's been saying mommy on repeat, so we'll see how she goes. Hold on. They can have all the tablets, all the phones.
Send them down.
Guys. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about two different things. We have gotten pretty good at signing up people as a whole, as a team. We've kind of got that figured out, especially with our system. But I think a little bit is a lot of times whenever we want other people to share and how to go about that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I have been personally learning. Something that I've been learning, and I want to just try to pass that on to you. And I feel like if we can get this as a team, that sometimes whenever we feel like we're moving a little bit slower, this can be the one thing that speeds us up. Because and we have to also realize that we learn to do things in steps. Like whenever you are first joining, you're just now figuring out how to get your products paid for, you're figuring out how to talk to people, and that's completely fine. But then once we start getting those people, we need to figure out, well, what's the next step here? How do we share that vision with them? How do we let them know what's going on? So keeping it super basic here. Aria, please turn that off or turn it down. Keeping it super basic here, like we need to be posting on social media about our business opportunity. I have more people join me for the business, or more wholesale people decide they are ready to work the business because of posts that I've made on social media than a lot of the other things. And it's a lot easier a lot of times to get business builders ready to work than it is to transition maybe a wholesale customer into a business builder. Not always, but a lot of the time. But one thing with our wholesale customers is they have to know that there is even a business opportunity available, or even an opportunity to get the cost of their products paid for. And a lot of times we'll drop the ball and we will not even share that information. And so it's really important to be trickling this in with follow-up a lot, or even having that conversation even before they order, like if finance is an issue, like we pride ourselves in helping people cover the cost of their products. It's super simple, those sort of things. So one thing that I want to challenge all of you guys to do is I want you to go into your back office and I want you to look at everybody that you have signed up in the past 2 to 3 months. And I want you to send them the message that, hi, we pride ourselves. What is the exact script? I had it here in front of me a second ago. Shut the book and throw it to the side. Okay, so I pride myself in being able to teach people how to get their products paid for, because I would never want finances to get in the way of your health journey. Would you be open to learning more about how that works? So that is like one step. We get that out there. We have that message. Like I pride myself in helping people get their products paid for. And because they need to know that that's an option, like they're taking the products, especially if they're loving their products, like why would they not want to figure out, well, how can I at least get most of the cost of my products paid for? Okay. Go find your tablet. Go sit down. I'll be off in just a minute. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so we start with that message. And then one of the things that happens after this is you're either getting ignored, or they're saying no, or they're saying yes. Like it's one of those three things. But whenever somebody says yes, a lot of times then we freeze and we're like, cool. Now what? Now what? How do I help this person? So we talk about having the Facebook post, and this might be repetitive for some of you guys, but some of you guys may be the first time you're hearing it, but talk about having the Facebook post. One of the first things that you can have them do is to post on Facebook. We have an amazing system. We have our buy sell trade sites. We have all of that, but most people that are just wanting to start this to get their products paid for are not ready to dive into all of that. It's going to take time. Right now, they're looking for some friends that could possibly do this with them. And I figured out what I think my hang up is whenever we have these conversations of why it may not go any further. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this specifically. So you have them make a Facebook post. Like, I'm really excited to try these new supplements that, my friend Amanda told me about. She's feeling better. She has more energy. Like, who wants to do this with me? I would love to have accountability, whatever script you give them to put out there. And then they start getting interest, and they start getting people that want to do that. So I think that the best thing to have them do is to put you in a three-way chat with them and let you do the heavy lifting. But one of the things that I feel like we've gotten wrong here is we go into it like, hey, I'm trying to sell you something. We don't go into it as like in a relationship, like, how can I help you? And that will turn a lot of people off, and then they will not order. Because whenever people are responding to our buy sell trades post, they are responding to a weight loss ad. They're like, hey, I want to lose weight. Like, let's have that conversation breakdown. But whenever they are responding to a friend on a post that's like, who would want to do this with me? I would love the accountability. They're responding into supporting a friend, like, hey, I wonder what they're doing. I deal with some of that. I wonder if this could help me too. So having your people like, oh, they have comments, like asking your person what to say. Have them thank them, like, thank you so much for being open to doing this with me. I have a friend that actually would it be okay if I added you to a chat with my friend Kara, and like just getting that permission to do it, and not saying like, hey, let me throw you in a chat with my sponsor. She's been doing this with me. Like, just, can I throw you in a chat with my friend Kara, so she can like maybe help us, and like thank them for being open. Like, one of the biggest things that I was missing in my thing is having people do micro commitments. A lot of times we want to have them be fully committed to like everything in the very beginning instead of those super small micro commitments. And using the word open instead of interested is apparently a really big deal according to the studies. So don't say interested, say open. And then whenever you get in the chat with them, instead of possibly just going through our scripts, I plan to make a board with these scripts on there too. So we can have like a three-way chat thing to make it simple, because I will do it more and more efficiently whenever it's simple for me. So I'm sure you guys will have the same outcome. So then whenever we get here and you're connecting, instead of going into the full like mode of, okay, like, I'm ready to sell you something, tell them like, I'm really happy to connect with you and see if I can help you. Tell me some of the things that made you respond to that post, or what are you dealing with? And then whenever they get to that thing, instead of just like throwing a recommendation at them, validate what they're feeling. Like, I completely understand that. Like, I felt that way too. Because one of the things that I've learned is you have to, especially like a first introduction, things like that, you have to let them get to a point where the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of trying something new, because trying something new is scary and it's hard for a lot of people. So doing that, and then even getting their person back involved in the conversation and just saying something simple, like, oh yeah, that's exactly what Amanda shared with me. Amanda, do you want to share a little bit about how you're feeling now that you started it? And just do it that third party validation. And then whenever they go through all of that, then ask them if you could make a recommendation of something that would help them more. But getting really personal and relationship with these people, especially whenever we're going through like a first Facebook post and getting people that way, I think we will have more luck than just going through our scripts. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? Yes. Awesome. one of the next steps that whenever you're asking to make a recommendation, I'm going to leave this up to you because I do not want this step to prevent you from doing all of the other things. But we were really encouraged to get on the phone to make that recommendation, to connect a little bit deeper right there. And then, going through the pricing and all of that with them on the phone. If you're not going to get on the phone, do it with the voice text or do it on Messenger. But we still need to get to that last step. So I want to challenge everybody to get to talk to their people. Like, we're having this conversation. I pride myself into, would you be open to that? Then getting them to make a Facebook post and then having these conversations, or even if they're not making a Facebook post, encouraging them to reach out to some friends and family member, like, hey, Barbara, I just started this new supplement and I'm really looking for some accountability. Would you be open to seeing if it would be something that you were interested in? Like reaching out to people that they personally know to possibly do that with them. Maybe they'd have better luck. And then you can do the three-way chat and go through the scripts this way. So that's going to be our focus like today, doing those things. And then on, where's my calendar? On the 25th, I'm going to start another Jumpstart Your Business Challenge. So I'm going to go in depth again with our buy, sell, trade system. And I'm going to go in depth with a lot of our win the day, not as in depth, but the first 2 steps of win the day to get people started. Usually we'll have like a week-long training of all of the things, but I'm going to just kind of compound this into a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, and do the training on the buy, sell, trade and how we go about that. But I'm also going to have a group and we're going to put the content in there that's going to be available throughout the week for people to grab and post those things to their timeline as they're telling us to do it. So what I'm getting at here is if we can spend the next day or two reaching out, having these conversations with people, like I pride myself in doing this, and they're open to that. And they spend this week, okay, I'm going to reach out to some of my friends and family members. And if they're having success with that and they want to, or even if they're not having success with that, but they're like, I really want my products paid for, like, what is the next step? Then you can use this and you can invite them into our training that we're having where they can get, they can have access to our scripts and how we sign up, the amount of people that we sign up. Does that make sense? It's all flowing in my head and I hope I got it out the way it's in here, but I'll pass it back over to Amanda.
All right, so I'm going to switch back over to talking about your goals. So a lot of times at the beginning of the month, we set our goals. We work really hard at the beginning of the month, and then the middle of the month comes around right now, and we start to get discouraged because a lot of times we work really hard at the beginning of the month. We work really hard at the end of the month, but the middle of the month, we just kind of let it be. And so I really want you to check in with yourself right now and make sure, like, have you given up? Did you work really hard for the first week and have you kind of given up and on your goals for this month? So remind yourself right now what your goals were this month. If you did not set a goal this month, get one set. We still have, half the month left, so you can still reach your goals. It's still completely possible. So set one, write it down, put it in front of you, remind yourself that you're capable of doing this and why you're doing this business. And a lot of times what is going on right now in your business is not a realistic expectation on how you're going to end. Because like I said, we work hard at the beginning, we work hard at the end. So you can still get there. And then I also want to talk about your promotions, our promotions this month. So if you did not have a goal, this is your goal to set for yourself. Signing 3 people, you get a $150 gift card to Nike. I know that we have lots of you that already have it. I know Nikkei was sharing everything that she got with her gift cards in the group chat earlier. Barbara showed up to our fall party with her new shoes on. And so I know a lot of you guys are already getting this and excited in using it. If you get 6 people, you get 2 $150 gift cards to Nike. And then we also do have free shipping on orders over $175. So you might want to think of that for yourself when you're putting in your order, or maybe you could reach out to some customers to try to up their order to have that free shipping. And then of course we still have 10% off. Is there anything that I missed?
I don't think so. I think it's really important not to allow yourself to check out or quit though,
Mhm.
and be talking to some of the people that you have maybe had, like your team members that were talking to you at the beginning of the month that have told you that they wanted this before, and just seeing where they still are, because a lot of times it's just like they don't, like when we're being held accountable and stuff, we're less likely to check out
Yes.
on ourselves and give up on ourselves.
Yeah,
And like,
so
go ahead.
so make sure you are checking in with your team. And if they haven't even signed anyone this month, like just remind them of the 3 in the Nike gift card. Check in with them, let them know that you're there to support them and that they can still do it.
Yep,
Sorry.
you're good. And I just want to remind everybody, like we've talked about before, but just really having a long-term vision of what this business is. So, as far as I know, most people have been super excited this month and have been killing it this month. A lot of you guys have signed up a lot of people. Our team has signed up a lot of people. It's been a really great month, but and a lot of times whenever we have those incentives, like we're excited to work towards those incentives. But just always remembering like where you want this business to take you and what that can mean for your family, and putting it in front of you will help you have that long-term vision. So, but I think that's all we have for you today. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to share?
That's all I can think.
Okay. Bunch of chatty Cathys today. So, all right. See you guys on Facebook.